Another useful action that we've used in our workflow is the wait for a field value to change action. We've used that here in our employee onboarding workflow. The way it works is we're waiting for a user to go in and to change a value. And when they do, then we know we can resume the workflow. But until they do, we're going to pause. So our form that we use in this workflow is used in this fashion. The vice president says, "I approve this," and they enter the date. Later on, then, we've routed it to the vice president for finance, and they don't approve it. And they enter a different date to show, no, and they might make the comment, "No funds available at this time." Clearly, we can't wait to see if the checkbox changes because the vice president for finance isn't going to turn it on and back off again. So we have to watch another field, and we intentionally added a field to this form, a date field, that would require someone actually changing it. Another possibility, by the way, and this has to do with form design more than workflow, is we could have used, rather than a checkbox, a drop-down list that had select as its default and then approved and rejected as its choices so that someone would actually have to make a choice. But these folks wanted to use a checkbox. Their old form had one, and their old form actually had a place for the date. So we copied their form. But again, we're not going to wait for the checkbox to change. We're watching this particular field. So the way this works in our workflow here is that we're waiting for HR to be greater than a particular date. Any date that's in the past will do. And when we added this action, we actually chose wait for field change in current item. It asks us for the field, and we said, well, we want to wait on whatever field it is that we're looking at. And then to equal, we have to equal or not to equal as defaults, but we would also have greater than, less than, and so on based on the field we chose. And then we would set a value that we're looking for. Now, you really need to understand what types of data you have, because if, for example, you have text, like we're going to wait for the employee name to change or to not equal, notice my list got longer as soon as I made a choice. My employee name to not equal a blank, we can do that. But I couldn't wait, for example, for a date like created to not equal a blank, because a date will never be blank. So I could say I'm waiting for the date created to be greater than, and I have to enter a date here. So dates for dates, numbers for numbers, text for text. But simply say to wait, we're going to watch this field, and as soon as it changes, I want you to note something else about this. It's not saying as soon as it's not empty or as soon as it's filled. So you can use wait on a field value to show that something has been modified as opposed to it was blank, now it's filled in. This action is an incredibly powerful action that you'll use over and over again, especially if you consider how to design forms to take advantage of it.